Welcome back. In this video, we are going to implement the functionality to select a photo from gallery and also to capture an image and put that into our happy place. Let's select Homer here. And there we are. Homer is in our image view here. Okay. And then also this feature where we capture a photo with the camera. And I'm just going to use the generic image. Of course, you can also test it on your phone, but I'm just going to use this image here and press OK. So there you are. Okay, so this is what we're going to implement in this video. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to add is the intent that allows me to go to the media storage and select an image from there. And where would I do that? Well, I think the best spot would be in the choose photo from gallery method. Okay, so here we currently just write a little toast or make a text here with a toast, and instead of that I want to execute something in there. Okay, so of course we are going to need this bracket here, but everything else can go, and in there we can go ahead and now ask for the gallery intent or create the gallery intent. Gallery intent is going to be a new intent. Intent action pick. So I'm picking something from the media store dot image is dot media dot external content URI. All right, and then the next thing that I need to do is to start this intent, and of course with the expectation that we will get a result. So start activity for result, and we need the intent, of course, which is our gallery intent, and we need the request code ID, and I'm going to use gallery here even though we don't have gallery yet, so we will need to create one. And the gallery variable that we still need, this constant, is going to be inside of a companion object. So we create a companion object here, which we need for our static variables, right? And this gallery should be a static variable. So private const val gallery. And I'm going to set that to 1. As you might recall, we used companion objects before. They are really used just to create constants and to create our static variables. All right. Once we have done that, we can implement the onActivityResult method, because start activity for result starts an activity, but then it waits for a result so that something comes back. In this case, the image should come back because we are opening the gallery in order to select an image. So let's implement that method here, and I'm just gonna make this public. Override fun on activity result. So here I first check if the result code is okay. So the result code of our activity dot result okay, and if that's the case, then I want to check if the request code was gallery. So request code, is it our gallery, which means the variable that we just created. If that's the request code, and that is, by the way, the code that we passed in here when starting the activity for result, because we can start multiple activities for result, right? And each of them will, of course, give us different results. And here we want to start the gallery intent and use this gallery code, so this request code. And if that one comes back, so if the activity result is from that call, then I want to do something else than when I, for example, start an activity for result with a camera, just as an example, where I just would take an image. Okay, so what I do here is I check if the data that I get is not null, and then I want to run some code. By the way, request code, result code, and data are the ones, so the variables that are given to us, so these parameters here in our onActivityResult method. Okay, so if you were wondering where I get all of these values from. And then if the data is not null, so we have an image, then we can get the content URI from that data. So content URI, so I'm going to call this variable, and that will be data.data. So once I have the data, I can go ahead and try something. So try, and what I will try here is to get the image from the media store and from this content URI. Okay, so I create a new variable here, which is going to be our selected image bitmap, and I use the media store again, media store dot images dot media dot get bitmap. So this method here is unfortunately deprecated since API 29, but it's still going to work totally fine. Okay. Unfortunately, they have made it deprecated, but they haven't given us a proper alternative yet. So that's sometimes how you have to handle it. So I'm using the content resolver here and the content URI that we have created before. So this one here. So basically I'm passing the data to my get bitmap, and I'm using this as the content resolver. Well, what's that? Well, the content resolver is the content resolver from our context. To be more precise, from our context wrapper, which extends context. So this, our class itself, which is our add happy places activity, has this content resolver, and we're passing that one. All right, and once we have the selected image bitmap, we can set that to our IV place image. Set image bitmap. And there we select the selected image bitmap. All right. And of course, because this is a try and catch, we also need to have the catch here, which I'm just gonna use the IO exception because it's an input output exception that could arise here because we are getting input, which is our image here that we get from the gallery. And I'm just gonna print the stack trace of this error and also make a little text, so a little toast here, so that the user knows, okay, something went wrong. And I'm just gonna say failed. Maybe failed to load the image from gallery. All right, that is our first request code. Okay, so we have it here and we check whether there is some data. Then we take that data, we store that in a variable called content URI, and then we try to get this bitmap from the media store based on this URI that we're creating. So basically we're just getting the data. We're taking this data as an image in form of a bitmap. So here, bitmap. And then we can set the bitmap into our image view place image, which is this app-compat image view, which is this image view here that you can see. And if that goes wrong, then we simply write a little text on the screen. All right. So at this point, we can test this and see if we can select an image from the gallery and position that in our image view. All right, so let's start. Let's add an image and select photo from gallery. Select the Sommer here. And there we are. All right, cool. So the next thing I would like to do is to add the functionality with the camera, but I think we should do that in the next video. So see you there.